Over the last week, we've seen a little bit of everything. Postponements, injuries, debuts, sensational goaltending, and more. But all signs point to Connor Zary being back in the lineup sooner than expected. So who does that leave out? Plus, certain Flames are playing phenomenal hockey and need to be recognized for it. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And yes, I am finally back making an up-to-date Flames video, which I know we've all been waiting for. And unfortunately, that means the first thing we need to talk about is last night's game. Now, the Flames have been playing quite a bit of hockey lately, despite having one of their games postponed. Of course, with the LA Wildfires, the Flames game was postponed about a week ago now already, but hopefully everything is okay there. And it's still been interesting because the Flames have still been playing lots of hockey, and last night they were in St. Louis for the first of two games in Missouri, and they lost. They lost 2-1 in a game that really, if they had won, would have shown that they can be a playoff team. St. Louis is kind of in the, chase for a playoff spot as well. They're in that bubble and unfortunately just got the best of the Flames. Now, of course, the Flames were playing the second of a back-to-back, which is always difficult. And once again, Dan Vladar was the man who got that start. So if we get into the box score here again, Vladar played good hockey. He gave up 2 goals on 25 shots, not too shabby at all for the 207 goals against average and the 920 save percentage, but once again takes an L. It is insane. I know he hasn't been getting the ideal starts. Those have been going to Dustin Wolf, but still, it's just unfortunate that once again, he plays a good game, statistically has a good game, and the Flames lose as well. Now, the goal scorer was Kevin Ball, of all people, got the goal for the Flames, and Martin Pospisil got the only assist on the night. There's your box score. A 2-1 loss, not exactly great, but look, I haven't made a video in over a week now, and so much has happened. Like I said, we know the postponement, but we've seen injuries. Of course, Connor Zary went down on a scary-looking play, but hopefully it's looking better than we thought. We saw Rory Cairns get to come into the lineup, which was fantastic, and we have so much to talk about. So why don't we start with a Zary update. As we know, it was against the Anaheim Ducks. Scary looking play again. Zary, had a little knee-on-knee collision. Didn't look great, but hopefully things are good. And a great way to kind of summarize all of this is a wonderful article here from Rupert McDonald, one of my favorite Flames writers. And he writes Flames news and rumors, Zary, Cairns, Wolf, and more. And we're going to be talking about all of those guys listed. So in this edition of Calgary Flames news and rumors, the worst case scenario appears to have been avoided regarding Connor Zary's injury, thank goodness. In other news, Rory Cairns was recently recalled from the AHL and made the most of his NHL debut on Monday night. Meanwhile, Dustin Wolf's strong season has continued and has him in the running for the Calder Trophy. Last but not least, Jonathan Huberdeau is regaining his old form. Wonderful stuff overall here. Now let's get into the first one and talk about the Zary injury, not as bad as initially thought. Thank goodness. So Flames fans watching last week's game versus the Anaheim Ducks were sick to their stomachs after watching Zary writhing in pain after taking a knee-on-knee hit from Drew Helleson. The Flames forward went down in a heap and laid on the ice for several minutes before eventually being helped down the tunnel. And anyone who has ever gone knee-on-knee with someone else in any situation knows just how painful that is, and the risk of it being, ACL injury, MCL injury, meniscus injury, and more is very, very high, and it could have been severe, but thank goodness, based on how much pain he was in, many expected this injury to be season ending. That doesn't appear to be the case, however, as there was no ligament damage in Zary's knee. Thank goodness. And not only, it's great to avoid ligament damage in general right away, but think of what happens to certain people once they get one knee injury. You're more likely to get another knee injury, and sometimes they just don't come back as the same. I know a lot of people will remember Derrick Rose in the NBA. Think of how good he was with the Chicago Bulls. Gets that ACL injury, was just never the same guy, and it sucks. There have been so many athletes like that. We can make a huge list. That's just the first one that sprung to mind, but thank goodness we can avoid that with Zary. A further update has yet to be released, but it sounds as though he will be able to return at some point this season. That's great news for the Flames, as the 23-year-old has been one of the most productive players with 10 goals and 22 points through 40 games, and he does it all. It's not just about offensive production. He's just a good all-around player. And again, we don't want any of our players to be injured. We already have a couple people out with season-ending injuries, thinking of Mantha and Justin Kirkland. So to avoid another one is wonderful, wonderful news. Such a great update. And all signs point to Zary, playing again this year, which a lot of people thought when they saw that hit, when they saw the aftermath, there was just no way. But this is honestly a wonderful major update here on the injury front. Thank goodness Zary is good. Hopefully he takes the time he needs to recover and will come back better than ever. Great update overall. Now let's get into some incredible performances as well. That was kind of outlined in the intro of this article by a Mr. McDonald. So let's talk about Rory Cairns here. Wow. What a debut. So Cairns has a remarkable debut. Flames fans have been begging the team to call up Cairns for quite some time, and they got their wish on Saturday, January 11th. The 22-year-old was deserving of the call-up, and his 21 goals were leading the AHL. It's been quite the rise for a player who was in the ECHL just 2 seasons ago, and I'm sure most of you watched the game, but it was incredible. Cairns' strength in his offensive play, and that was on display in his NHL debut on Monday, January 13th versus the Chicago Blackhawks. He was able to record assists on 2 goals from Jacob Pelletier and created several more opportunities in his 15 minutes of ice time. If he keeps this up, his time in the AHL may be done and over with. And it is true. Look, there was a point where Rory Cairns had the most points per game out of any player in NHL history. He was above Gretzky, but no, unfortunately, he didn't get any points last night against St. Louis, but he's still rocking at a point per game for his entire NHL career. Quite impressive stuff. But it's so interesting what happens when you put players who played together in the AHL, in the NHL, and they produce instantly. It took 12 seconds for Rory Cairns to get his first NHL point. Of course, it was with Jacob Pelletier, and it was just so great to see both of them succeeding so quickly. Hopefully they can continue that, and it was just wonderful to see great success overall for the Flames there. Another man we need to talk about, of course, is between the pipes. Dustin Wolf is playing outstanding hockey. Wolf entered this year as the player Flames fans were most excited about. The young goalie has been a highly touted prospect for several years, in large part due to his domination at the AHL level. He won the Goalie of the Year award in each of his first 2 AHL seasons, also picked up the AHL MVP in 2022-23. Wolf has continued that dominance into his rookie season. He's appeared in 23 games, posting a 15-6-2 record, along with a 250 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. Wonderful statistics overall for a rookie especially. Many expected his rookie season to be full of highs and lows, but it's been almost all highs thus far. While winning the Calder Trophy in a class that features some elite talent, such as Macklin Celebrini and Lane Hudson and Matvei Michkov, may be tough, he's certainly deserving of being a top 3 finalist, and we hope he can obviously keep that up. Last man we need to talk about, Jonathan Huberdeau. Huberdeau is back on track. Huberdeau entered the 2024-25 season as an afterthought, but is proving that he still has plenty of game left. Fans held their breath, hoping for a bounce back in 2023-24 after an ugly first season with the Flames, but that failed to be the case as he managed just 12 goals and 52 points through 81 games last year. This season, it's been a much different story, and boy did it need to be. Huberdeau is already up to 18 goals in just 43 games, putting him on pace for what would be a career-high 34. He may never get back to being the 100-point player, well, a 115-point player we saw from him with the Panthers in 2021-22, but this is a far better player than fans in Calgary figured they would get throughout the remainder of his contract. He's been a huge reason why the Flames have had so much success so far this season. There are many men leading the Flames right now to what looks like will be, at this point, if they keep continuing like this, a playoff spot. Honestly, if they can stay ahead of Vancouver, I don't know if teams like St. Louis, Utah, Seattle will go on any hot streaks, but look, the Flames they're staying competitive, and certain guys like Wolf, Huberdeau, others as we know, like Andersson, Kadri, they're playing good hockey. So it's interesting overall. Now let's get into the comment of the day, and it's actually about one of the names I just said in Rasmus Andersson, as I had many comments to choose from the last 7 or so videos that were uploaded on the channel. But this one was good here from SC. So Raz knows the direction of the team. If he is that emphatic about wanting to be here, you have to keep him. Flames want and need players that want to be here. There's been so many articles going around lately, so many rumors about the Flames trading Andersson, and then the Flames aren't interested in trading Andersson. Does Andersson want to be here? We know Andersson wants to be here, and I think, best case scenario, there's so many, case scenarios, I guess we could say here, in that the Flames could do some asset management and trade away Andersson and just go full rebuild, or you keep the guys who want to be here, a guy who could be a leader for a long time, and, give him as many years as he wants on his contract kind of thing. So there's so many different ways, but the fact that he does want to be here is a very good sign, and who knows, maybe he will stay for the long run. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.